let's talk about the heavyweight hierarchy. I never really talked about the aftermath of the Anthony Joshua versus, uh, you know, Oleksandr Usyk heavyweight title bout. I was on a great show with Tim Curry, The Shadows Project. If you haven't heard of it, check out The Shadows Project on YouTube. Tim's a great guy. Had such a good time doing his podcast, and so we were talking about the fight on fight day early in the morning. He's in Italy, and here I am in the States. But I got up early in the morning to talk about it, and I really thought that I felt very strongly about my prediction. I thought that we were going to see the best of Anthony Joshua, and he was going to really take his game to a whole new level, and he was going to show that the ghosts of his previous bouts were gone. And I'm not sure that he really demonstrated that or kind of got over that point. But what we can say is that Oleksandr fought the perfect fight, looked phenomenal. So I don't know if it's any shortcoming of Anthony Joshua or it's just this is how good Oleksandr Usyk is. And I'm more leaning towards that direction than anything else. I just think people aren't giving Usyk enough credit for how good of a champion, me included, because I thought Joshua was going to stop him. And that wasn't anywhere close. Vice versa to be true. I thought Joshua was close to getting stopped within that last round. But I think that obviously dramatically changed the heavyweight hierarchy. So I'm going to pop up here in just a bit. I should be seeing it right around this area, my heavyweight list. So now I've kind of gone and I've reconfigured the top 10 of the heavyweight division. I also have some guys that are on the bubble, in my opinion, and some notable names that could be entering that sphere in the near future. So here's my top 10 heavyweight list right now. Number 1, Tyson Fury. It's kind of hard to judge Tyson Fury because of the inactivity, but that last performance against Deontay Wilder still lingering in my mind. And I'll have to see something dramatic happen the third time around between the two before I take him off my top of the tops. For me, Anthony Joshua was still at the top because of how he kind of came back from defeat, and he really looked like he was becoming a complete boxer, starting to find a style. I know some people thought like, well, he looks confused. We don't know what his style is. I thought, okay, this is a guy that boxing is going to pick his spots and not just kind of go all out and waste his energy. So I liked his patience within the Pulev fight. Obviously, I didn't like the way he looked within the Oleksandr Usyk fight, which was a phenomenal fight. So I really give it up for both guys. But Tyson Fury is still my top spot. Oleksandr Usyk now shifts into number 2. Could Usyk be number 1? Sure, he could. But we have to see him fight the winner of Wilder Fury before we can really ordain him as number 1. I mean, and of course, we're still looking for that undisputed champion. We've been waiting. It feels like forever for that. We still don't have that. So as of right now, for me, he's number 2. I can't take it away from Tyson Fury just yet. Usyk at number 2, Deontay Wilder at 3. Yes, I have Joshua dropping. The Joshua that I saw against Usyk looked like he would be the kind of guy that would get knocked out by Wilder. Again, we don't know where Wilder's at right now. Under the tutelage of friend and new head trainer Malik Scott. I'm hoping that we see a new and improved Deontay Wilder. I have a lot of faith in Malik Scott as a trainer. And I'm predicting that we're going to see some new elements to Deontay Wilder's game. He looks sharper. His footwork looks better. He seems like he's becoming more of a combination puncher and a body puncher. Now, if he can demonstrate that against Fury, well, jump him up the list. Maybe he's number 1. But he has to beat Tyson Fury and look good doing it in order to make that jump. Depending on how that fight goes will really determine how this top 3 is going to look. I drop Anthony Joshua down to number 4. His second loss got outclassed by Usyk. Could he come back and beat Usyk and vault right back up to the top? Sure. And I'm going to stop there with the top 4 for a second, because what I think that we see there is that any one of those guys in the top 4 is capable of being the number 1 heavyweight in the world. I think they're that close in talent. They have different skill sets. They have different ways of performing in the ring. but I think that they all have the talent to be top heavyweights. So who's going to end up being number one? I don't know. Usyk now is highly in contention for that spot after his performance. So bottom line is I think we have to really like what's happening in the heavyweight division right now. But I really think that that top four as of right now could be kind of interchangeable. There's a clear distinction from 5 and down. Number 5 for me, I have Joe Joyce. I know a lot of people are going to scoff at that saying, wait a second, you have Joe Joyce ahead of Dillian White. What has Joe Joyce done to deserve that spot? Part of it is a hunch, and part of it is based on what I've seen and kind of evaluating Joe Joyce's potential. What he did to Daniel Dubois, I'm sorry, that's the definitive moment right there. And then people can say, well, how good was Daniel Dubois? I think really good. I think both of those guys are really, really good. Joe Joyce's punching power is up there. Is it Deontay Wilder's? No. Is it Anthony Joshua's? Maybe even better than Anthony Joshua's, to be quite honest. Yes, he's a bit slow. He's a bit lumbering, but he's proven to have pretty good cardio. He tends to get stronger as the fight goes on, and he's got an amazing chin. So does he look the prettiest in the ring? No, but the intangibles are there, and he's not getting any younger. I mean, he's in his mid-30s already. So if he's going to make a strike into that top four, it's got to happen within the next year and a half, because that's when I see him on the decline. But I think considering the other names that are on the lower part of that list, I think he beats them. I think he beats Andy Ruiz. I think he beats Dillian White. I think he beats Joseph Parker, Hunter, and Chisora, everybody else right now. You put them in there with Joyce, I think he breaks them. That's my opinion. So that's why I have Joe Joyce rated so highly. Based on what I've seen, I have a hard time seeing people stand up to his punching power, and I see him walking through a lot of other people's shots. Number 6, I have Andy Ruiz Jr. He's more physically fit. He's still kind of trying to find his style a bit, but I think if he continues to work on his fitness and keep sharpening up the tools, he could be a real factor. Number 7, Dillian White. Dillian White, obviously the physical tools are there. He's got the size, he's got punching power, he can do some nice things with his feet, but I also see him as being raw. Didn't have a stellar amateur background. I don't think he's ever going to be fully refined as a boxer. So those are some of the things that concern me about White. His defensive liabilities, you saw it in the Povetkin fight, the first one. The second one, there just wasn't much of Povetkin there to fight. So I'm not sold on Dillian White. I think that's kind of where he is. I think that's where he's always going to be, is around a number 7 heavyweight. I don't see him really doing any damage against those guys in the top 6 right now. Then I throw in Joseph Parker. Parker, same type of thing. He's a good, solid boxer with decent punching power, but he's missing something to really vault him into the top 5. Then I've got Michael Hunter, good, solid boxer. His boxing skills make him competitive, but I just don't think he's got the power to make a dent further up the list. And then Derek Chisora, he's always got that motor. He's always got that punching power. There's something, he's got that it factor, but again, the age is taking a toll. Rather than going up the list, I see him sliding farther down. So I think that number 10 spot for Chisora is tenuous. And then unfortunately, I think he's going to be off that list in the future. I just don't see him winning fights. And there's a good young crop of fighters coming up. On the bubble, I have Otto Wallin, who's a very solid boxer, maybe not the electric puncher that some of the other guys are, but we know he's tough. We know he can hang with the best. He did it with Tyson Fury. Then I've got Daniel Dubois. I think we haven't seen the best of him. He's so young. He's still learning. I think he could be one of those guys that storms up the ranks in the future years. He just had a bad outing against Joe Joyce and was doing okay. It just, Joyce had it on him. Then I have Luis Ortiz. Again, one of those guys like Derek Chisora. Because of his age, I see him sliding down the list, not going up. I think that's kind of where he's cemented, right in the middle of the top, like top 15 type of guy. Then I've got some notable names, and most of these guys I think have the potential to move up rather than down. This is where you kind of have the next crop of guys: Tony Yoka, Efe Ajagba, and Filip Hrgovic. Out of those 3, I think Filip Hrgovic has the most potential. Ajagba, again, he's looking good. He's got that power. Can he keep refining the boxing skills to go up the list? So I know a lot of people have drawn comparisons to Deontay Wilder because of his style. He relies so much on the power, but I think he's trying to change that. He's another interesting one. And how he fares against Frank Sanchez. I didn't put Frank Sanchez on this list. If Frank Sanchez beats Efe Ajagba, then replace Ajagba's name and put Frank Sanchez in there. I think that's a really intriguing bout on the undercard of Fury versus Wilder 3. So that's the way I see it. Let me know, comment below, what do you think? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Yell at me, love me, do whatever you want with my list. Have at it. Let me know. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say there.